All right, for more on this, let's bring in Jonathan Greenblatt, Anti-Defamation League CEO and National Director. Please do give us your top-line thoughts after this horrific weekend.
Well, look, first of all, our hearts go out to the victims. I hope that they are recuperating and that they make a swift recovery. But I got to admit, I am angry. I am angry that we are still dealing with this. I am angry that, thank God for you guys at Fox covering this the way that you are, because in too many places we're told that anti-Zionism is a legitimate political argument. It is not. Hate is hate. And if you were angry when Robert Bowers went into a synagogue in 2018 and murdered 11 Jews when they were worshiping because he had been radicalized, online, why don't we see the same anger across the board, particularly from folks on the left? We see this man radicalized. And by the way, a week and a half ago, 2 people walking out of the Capitol Jewish Museum shot in the back. The assailant fired more than 20 bullets at this couple and murdered them in cold blood. And 6 weeks ago, the governor of Pennsylvania had his house firebombed. And in all of these cases, the assailants, they said, free Palestine, or I'm doing it for Gaza, or yesterday in Boulder, I want to end Zionists. If you are so deranged that you think firebombing elderly people is a political statement, and leaders here don't have the courage to call it out, my God, these people are hopeless.
All right, so you mentioned that there was these previous 2 events, the horrific attack just a few blocks from where we are here. I wanted to put up your statistics, Jonathan, on the striking increase in the number of anti-Semitic incidents in the United States. 9,354 anti-Semitic incidents just in the year 2024. That's a 5% increase from 2023. But look at this, a 344% increase over the past 5 years and an 893 percent increase over the past 10 years. There were 16 acts of terrorism perpetrated since 2020. 9 of those happened in the last 11 months. People have talked about this as an immigration problem, but Jim Jordan also thinks that this is all indicative of what's going on across America on our college campuses. Listen here.
So much of this is what's tolerated and what's taught on campuses from the left, and this crazy mindset that's out there. We know who the bad guys are. It's Hamas, and we know Israel's our dearest and closest friend, our dearest and closest ally.
Do you think that this is being driven by what we're seeing on college campuses?
The congressman is exactly correct. Where do you think these lunatics hiding their faces, frothing at the mouth, go after they graduate? I mean, they're not going to Goldman Sachs. They're going to places like a park in Boulder, Colorado. They're showing up in public spaces, threatening Jewish people. Again, without consideration for these people's politics or their positions. They are guilty of one thing, John, of simply being Jewish. Look, Jews know what this is like. We've seen this movie before. Anti-Semitism is called the oldest hatred, and targeting Jewish people because of how they pray or what they believe or where they're from, it's the oldest trick in the book. So the congressman is correct. The moral rot at the core of many of these institutions, it doesn't stay, on the campus. It spreads like a toxin, like a poison, and ends up in other spheres just like this. This is why at ADL we are speaking loudly, forcefully, insisting and appreciating that the Trump administration is leaning into taking action against these institutions. It is long overdue. And look, we need it on the college campuses. We need to look at K through 12 schools. And by the way, we need to look at the social media companies who platform and promote this horrible, hateful content, because if it bleeds, it leads. But it is deeply dangerous, it's insightful, and it's got to stop.
I want to play out sound, Jonathan, of the White House press secretary who joined us live last hour on how the administration plans to hold this person accountable. Listen.
He is lighting Jewish people on fire who were simply trying to peacefully pay respect to the hostages in Israel. This absolutely is an act of targeted terrorism. The FBI and the Department of Justice are investigating it as such, and the president is going to ensure that this individual is held to the fullest extent of the law.
Obviously, this attack is happening under a whole new administration. How do you expect their response to look like?
Well, look, we've seen the president, we've seen AG Bondi, we've seen FBI Director Cash take a strong position on these kinds of acts. And Caroline's right. This is domestic terror. This is an act intended to engender fear, intended to promote insecurity. The man said he planned it for a year. He had 14 Molotov cocktails on him that he hadn't even had a chance yet to use. I mean, this is a deranged individual, but we need to demonstrate deterrence. And look, I think this is not only a violation of these Jewish people's physical security, it's a violation of their civil rights. Right? Freedom of assembly is guaranteed in our Constitution and under the First Amendment. So I applaud DOJ for taking a tough stance. And what I really want is whether it's social media influencers on Twitch and YouTube like Hassan Piker or other kind of promoters of hate on YouTube and TikTok like Guy Christensen, or like, these speakers at these graduations. It just happened the other day at MIT, spreading blood libels about the Jewish people or the Jewish state. It creates the conditions in which this kind of act is happening with increasing frequency. We've got to stop it once and for all. I hope the Trump administration will do just that.
Well, the fact that this person spent more than a year planning this, if one of his victims happens to die, it certainly is going to change the entire context of the charges that he is facing. So we mentioned that this is a two-pronged issue. This is, you believe, and many people believe, I don't want to say born out of what's going on at the colleges, but maybe completely influenced by it. But it's also an immigration problem, because let's check this person's immigration status. Let's put up his timeline. So he came in here to the country August 27, 2022, on a tourist visa. He filed for asylum about 4 months later in September. His authorization to stay on his tourist visa expired February 26, 2023. But somehow he managed to get a work visa about a month later. Does that suggest to you, Jonathan, that nobody really did a deep dive into this person's background? Because, anybody who I've ever talked to about perpetrators of acts like this say it didn't just happen overnight, that it had been brewing for a long time.
Yeah, we've seen this kind of radicalization before. I don't understand, like when you apply for these things, they should be looking at your social media background. They should be understanding if you're a threat to society. So you got me how this guy ever could have qualified. I mean, it's really pretty astonishing. And I don't think there's a case to be made why someone like this who would murder people in cold blood should be here. Carolyn Levin had it right before. Being in America isn't a right, it's a privilege. And it's a privilege that you should lose if you violate our laws and if you shred our norms. And, again, I'm really angry today. I'm angry that I continue to see Jewish people terrorized for, again, walking around in a peaceful protest to remember 58 hostages being held in Gaza. Like, there's nothing even political about that. This is a walk of peace, and this man violated the norms. He doesn't deserve to be here. We need strong action taken. And, it's just time. This is going to happen again. Here's the thing. Unless we act now and demonstrate deterrence, this will repeat again and again and again. And that's what I'm really worried about.
Jonathan, appreciate you joining us today. Wish it was under better circumstances. We appreciate your time.
Look, thanks for covering it, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.